on, guys? I'm coming at you with another Raptor video. Same Raptor, but we're doing a different project. I'm not going to do Project Raptor part 672 because this project is just taking way too long. This is going to be a brand new chapter, and for those of you that watched the past couple videos, you know what's going on. I finally got this thing running. Come to find that the crank is bad. One of the main bearings, or crank bearings, is bad. So this motor's got to come apart. So that's the basic reason why we're not going to continue the original project. I want to start new because basically all the stuff that I wanted to get done in the original project is done. This is going to be the motor portion. I'm going to pull this motor out, throw some new parts in there, and finally get some riding footage of this thing. I know you guys would probably want to kill me and unsubscribe and stuff like that, and that's bad. So we're going to make this thing work, don't worry. So this is still how she sits. I still have not put the plastics back on. They've been sitting in the corner for months, and I know I'm getting really sick of looking at them. But she's a bare quad right now. Still got this wire harness dangling. If you guys remember, there was a bad relay. It was kind of cracked open and stuff. We replaced that. For anybody that hasn't been following the original portion of this project, this quad started out as a project quad. I never heard it run. Bought it as is for $1,800. Had a clean title. Was not running. It would turn over, wouldn't fire or anything like that. Went through a ton of trouble replacing all kinds of stuff, checking all the systems. Had good compression, good spark, good fuel delivery. Didn't make any sense why it wasn't running. Turned out it was the crank position sensor, or it could have possibly been the stator. I replaced them both at the same time. And it's possible that it was a spark that was too weak, and once under compression it wasn't bridging the gap, which would be the stator needed to be replaced, or it's possible that the crank position sensor was bad and it wasn't firing at the right time. And if you're interested in seeing that footage, you can check all the original videos and see how I got to this point. But for now, we're going to be doing some engine work. So chances are the part that is actually bad is the main bearing. The main bearings go between, you know, 30 and 80 bucks depending on which brand you buy. So it's really not an expensive part that's broken or needs to be replaced. Could also be one of the the roller pin bearings in the crank, but more than likely it's the main bearing. And to just replace that one part would kind of be silly in my mind, because more than likely this engine was run with no oil and all the bearings probably should be replaced in the crank. So what I'm going to do is replace the whole assembly. I could have the assembly sent out with new bearings pressed on and everything, but instead of doing that, I'm going to go aftermarket. I'm going to be ordering a hot rods crank. That way I'll be able to take out the old one, throw the new one in. There's not going to be as much downtime. We'll be able to get this thing cranking. On top of that, I do have good compression. It's got 71 foot-pounds. That's what the manual calls for. I know it seems low. Might have something to do with the decompression system, but 71 pounds is what the maximum that the manual calls for. So compression's good, but since I'm in there, I'm going to go ahead and throw an aftermarket piston in. Most likely going to do either a TeknoAXE piston, just for cost, and TeknoAXE makes great pistons anyway, or I'm going to go with a CP piston because the stuff that I've been seeing on Raptor Forum, supposedly the CP pistons are top notch, and I'm going to go with 11-to-1 compression because I can still use pump gas, but it'll be an upgrade from the stock piston. So let me take you to the computer real quick and I'm going to show you what parts I'm planning on getting for this thing. Alright guys, so here we are on none other than eBay. I'm just going to run you through and show you some of the parts that I've been looking at here. For the piston, this one here is the CP piston. It's 11-to-1 compression ratio. It's 194.99, so it's basically 195 bucks. This is supposed to be the best piston you can buy, at least according to the people on Raptor Forum. It looks like a really nice piece, and it's expensive. But you can see here, supposedly this X forging, which I've never heard of before, is supposed to be the strongest available piston. But I've heard really good stuff about this company and their pistons, so definitely a nice piece. Got the complete gasket kit for 42 bucks. That's top end and bottom end. And here's the TeknoAXE piston. This is $82.95. Considerably less, over 100 bucks cheaper than this CP piston. And this is also 11-to-1 compression ratio. And if you know anything about TeknoAXE, I think these guys use the molds that OEM companies use. So it's basically
an OEM piston, and this one's a little bit different because it's higher compression than the OEM. But I've heard really good things about TeknoAXE, and I've used them before, never had any problems. It's not going to be a race machine, so that's kind of why I was thinking TeknoAXE would be the way to go. Here's Wiseco at 195 also. Also comes with gaskets, unlike the CP, but I don't think I'm going to go with Wiseco. Then I was looking at some big bore kits, but heard some bad stuff about the cylinders being Chinese cylinders, and really not a good idea. Now, as for the crank, on eBay, they were going for $377 was the cheapest I can find. Now, I found it on this place, it's called Fat Performance Parts. You know, I never really heard of this place, and, you know, I don't know. But I took a risk and ordered from them. They had the Raptor 700 for $295.95, and I noticed they updated their prices. So I was a little leery because it was, you know, almost $80 cheaper than any other place I could find. Plus, it had free shipping, and I used this 5% off all orders thing, and it came to $281 shipped. So it's been 6 days now, and I still haven't gotten any tracking info or any kind of communication, any emails or anything. So I'm kind of getting a little weary. Plus, this website looks like wasn't updated since 2015, at least the copyright. I don't know, and it looks kind of outdated. But they did change the prices on here, so somebody's home. That makes me feel a little bit better. But I just found this on these reviews for this website. It's actually kind of funny. All the recent reviews suck. Avoid these clowns. Avoid it at all costs. Do not buy from Fat Performance. Horrible custy service. Terrible. Avoid at all costs. Pleasurable. Fat. Some kind of curse words. Buyer be extremely cautious. They are rude and unprofessional. Lies. Why? Horrible website to order from. And customer service. So easy to deal with. Blah, blah, blah. But I mean, that does not look good at all. And they all say the same thing, that they placed orders and months went by or whatever, and just nothing happened, and they had to file a dispute with their credit card company. They get their money back. So hopefully that's not what happens to me. You know, it says my order is placed, and it's waiting to be shipped. So I'm going to call them tomorrow and see what the hell's going on. Hopefully I can get through, because in the reviews I read, it said it's very hard to get through to these people. If I can't get through to them, I'm just going to go ahead and order another Hot Rods crank from eBay or Motosport, because I'm not going to have another situation like with the Banshee where it took 6 months to get the plastics, all to save like $150. So we'll see what happens when I call them tomorrow, and I'll keep you updated on that. Hopefully they make good with what they had it up there for, and I can get it for $281, and they don't, you know, jerk me off. But we'll see what the hell happens there. And as for the other parts that I'm going to be ordering, like the piston and stuff, I'm not going to order that until I have the quad opened up, because I don't know what the heck is in there. I don't know if maybe it does have a big bore kit, could have a even just a slightly oversized piston. So the crank, I know I'm going to go with the factory crank, but I'll wait to see what's going on in the piston and with the cylinder, and I want to measure that anyway, because they actually have different stock size pistons you can buy that are just slightly larger than the stock ones, just to compensate for wear in the cylinder.
Okay, guys, so it's pretty late right now. It's about 11 o'clock. I got a later start than I wanted today. But before I let you go, I want to take a couple parts off of this thing just to get the project kicked off. And I also want to test out a new tool that I just bought tonight and see how good it is. So the reason that I did get such a late start tonight is because I was at Lowe's for about 2 hours with my pop. And I've been dying to pick up a new impact driver and drill. Not that the ones that I had before were terrible or anything. They're right here, actually. They're Craftsman's. And these really work great. You know, we kind of beat the hell out of these things. You know, we're not contractors or professional mechanics, my pop and I, but we're constantly working on things. You know, these things have been dropped several times. They're the C3 series ones. These are the older edition ones. We actually have the newer ones, only because to buy batteries for these damn things, it costs like, you know, $100-$120 for 2 batteries, and they sell kits that come with. Whoops. They sell kits that come with the bag, the impact driver, and a drill, and 2 batteries for like $100 usually. So you're kind of getting the tools for free. So we actually have a couple of these things, and I think they're in here.
You can see them right here. And then in this bag, I think there's more of them. Brand new in the bag. The thing is, we only have so many batteries. So if I even wanted to use these, I'd have to get new batteries for them. Now these ones are good, but the whole idea was to have them for work, because at work we don't have a cordless drill and we don't have a cordless impact either. And these are really going to help me out at work, so I wanted to get a set. And I got a crazy deal on these. They had a Father's Day special that carried over to the 20th. And I got this set for 122 bucks out the door. And these are both brushless. If you don't know anything about brushless motors, they are a little bit more compact. See how short this thing is? You can compare it to this bad boy. Size-wise, it's quite a bit smaller. And the drill, even more so. It's pretty crazy. And these ones are actually even more powerful, and the brushless is supposed to, the motors are supposed to last longer. So it should be quite a nice little upgrade there. Got 2 batteries, a charger. So I'm dying to try this thing out, really. So what we're gonna do tonight is just get that tank off. We'll get this exhaust off, and maybe a couple other odds and ends, but we'll just get that stuff off. I really wanna try out that impact on the exhaust. The old impact gun couldn't get this stuff off usually, because exhaust is usually pretty tight. You have to use a hand wrench or get the bigger impact. So I'm really curious to test that thing out. Let's see if we can get this stuff off, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so now we've got some space in here to work. So let's get this exhaust off. This one clamps kind of at a weird angle. I can't use the impact on it, so I'm gonna have to use a hand wrench to get it off. But we'll see how that impact works on these bolts up here, and then on those crusty header bolts. Well, it took these bolts off no problem, but I'm really curious to see how it takes these header bolts off, or if it even will. At first I just have to take one more clamp off to remove a tiny section in the back. Time for the moment of truth. Look at this old, crusty, dingy, shitty, rusty bolt. God damn. But can it take off the actual header bolt? These things are notoriously a bitch to get off. Let's see if we can even get on there. I want to get on nice and square, so I don't want to strip the bolt. Let's try that. Shit. Well, it took the stud out, but that's okay. I can just drill it back in like that. Unfortunately, the other 3 header bolts, I can't get my impact in there, so I'm gonna have to do it by hand. They're pretty damn tight. Alright guys, so that exhaust came off pretty easy. If you've worked with exhaust before, you know it can be a huge pain in the ass. A lot of times the bolts are kind of seized on there and they snap off and stuff. We got lucky, only 2 studs came out with the
the end nuts. The other two nuts just popped right off. It's not going to be a problem. I can get those nuts off and then clean up the threads on the studs and put them back in the head. So this tool worked really well. I mean, that's not the craziest test I could do with it, but exhaust bolts can be really, really tight. This thing, I don't know how tight they were on the quad, but this thing had no problem so far. So I'm excited to use this thing. It has a really nice feel, you know, in the hand. It's pretty nice and light. Battery is probably the heaviest part of this thing, and it runs really smooth. I really like it. So this thing's supposed to have 1,500 inch-foot-pounds of torque, which is I don't know, maybe 120 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty powerful for such a small tool. So we got the exhaust off, got the airbox off, got the battery off, gas tank off, real easy stuff. So next I'm going to be draining the oil and the fluids and everything, starting to take stuff apart, and I want to pull this motor. In the next video I'm probably going to do a little bit of work on that, and I'm actually going to be pulling the Banshee out. That's right, Banshee's been sleeping in the back for like a year. I know you guys have been asking about it and stuff. I'm pulling it out, I'm going to clean it up a little bit, make sure that it fires up, and just make sure everything's ready to ride, and I'm going riding on Saturday. Yeah, that's right, we're going to the coal mines. Going to rip up the trails up there. I've never actually had the Banshee up in the coal mines when it was running good. The last time I had it up there, I had this shitty carbs on it, and it was running really weird. It was running like good a little bit of the time, and then shitty the other time. And then it was only running on one cylinder. Terrible, terrible. So I'm excited to take it up there. And you guys are going to laugh when you see the Banshee, and you're probably going to cringe and want to punch me in the face, just because it's been sitting back in the backyard for so long. It was in the shed for half the winter, and then I got pushed out, and I put a cover on it. But you know, like the polished aluminum and the chrome and stuff kind of corroded and got that white stuff on it, which really, you know, it's sad to see, you know, because I had it looking so good. But I think I can clean all that stuff up. I'm probably not going to clean it up before I go riding, so I'm going to dirty up that quad real bad. But then I'm going to wash off the quad, and we'll see if we can get that shit off anyway. And it'll be a cool video to see if we can make it look back how it was before I put it away in storage without doing too much work to it. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. I appreciate you following the channel. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Comment and subscribe if you can. You can check out the Facebook page and my Instagram. So like I said, Thursday I'll be bringing up that Banshee. Most likely it'll be today, because by the time this video comes out, it will be Thursday. And I'll see you guys in that one. Until then, take it easy and have a good week. And here's a quick clip from work to show you what goes on there. I'm really glad those aren't my cars parked there.
I know.
Oh!
Dude, holy f***. Did he really say that?
Yeah, no one goes, take off the mini mask.